Welcome to Don's Manufactory. Today, working on Betsy. I'm just drilling holes in the floorboard, the floor pan, getting ready to install it. There's nothing left to do except put that sucker in. The car's really going to look like a car when that floor pan gets put in there. So maybe by the end of the day, I'll have the final fitting and the whole thing prepped and ready to weld in. That'd be pretty cool, huh? I don't know how much of the drilling you really want to see, so I'll cut that short and we'll move on to the installation right after that. Okay. Okay, as you can see, this thing is a little unwieldy. I got one of those stands from Harbor Freight, X stand, to hold it, which works kind of okay, but I was puckering the metal with every drill thing, and I probably should have changed the angle, reground the drill bit so it wouldn't do that, but I was just kind of being uncoordinated and trying not to drill a hole in my leg while I'm doing this. Yep, center punched everything before I drilled. The holes are drilled and I've sanded off both sides, so that's all done. Now I need to treat all the bare metal and with OSPO and get it ready, get all this ready, and then I'm going to prime and paint the tunnel because I won't have access to it after I put the floor in. Well, I will if I want to pull down the exhaust system and take out the driveline, but I don't want to do that. Scuffed it up, put a coat of primer on it, all the areas that I won't be able to get to after the floor is in. Hi, welcome to Don's Manufactory. As you can tell, it's a glorious day here in Oregon. We have the first of our fall weather systems coming in a couple of days, so I have to take a break from Betsy and do some projects on the house, namely gutters and demossing the roof and things like that. In the meantime, while I'm doing that, I'll have a coat of paint drying on the bottom of the floor pan. Well, it's evening now, and obviously I'm go back to working on Betsy. Oh gosh, I always look so, I don't know, uncoordinated putting these, putting the floor pan in. But, you know, it's getting to where it fits pretty good, and I managed to get it in there without screwing it up too much. So what you can't see here, and what I don't put on the video, is that I clamped some angle iron to the pinch weld on the underneath side of the floor pan going along the rockers there, just to keep the floor at the right place, at the right height, and so that I can get in there and kneel and walk and, you know, crawl around inside the car without screwing up the floor pan. Okay, here I'm clamping the wheelhouse to the floor pan there to hold the floor pan down and to pull everything together in that corner. Using the body hammer to close up all of the seams to get them tighter. My main purpose today, I have to mark every one of those spot welds on the cross members, frame members that I have to do here. After I've done all of that, so I know where I have to grind off or sand off the primer so that I get a good weld. I also have to mark on the floor pan, on the sides here, where all of the old spot welds were, so I'm not grinding off any more galvanizing. I need to know where it's bare metal underneath so I can put the spot welds for the floor pan where they were before. But other than that, it's really looking good. I'm happy with this. Okay, so now I am marking the floor pan where the holes need to be drilled, which I hadn't done yet, and now marking the cross members and floor support and everything where I need to grind off the primer, the galvanizing, or anything else that's going to stop the weld from sticking really good. Just, I don't know, it's kind of tedious, but I left all this video in because it was just so entertaining. Now I'm going around doing just sort of a final bash it into position mode. I'm still using that body hammer to try to close up all the little gaps right at the holes where the welds are going to be. Now I'm using the body hammer and the rubber hammer there to close up that pinch weld. I'm still doing some fitting. Got my holes drilled and I've got screws in there sort of sucking everything up. This here, these seat pans are not fitting all that great. This one fits better than the one on the other side, but you know, it still leaves a little bit to be desired. On this side, however, the seat pan is square to the rocker. Goes straight across there. And you can see it's got, I'm just trying to get things worked out here, but it's nearly perfectly flat. But you can see there's quite a bit of gap here. So I'm gonna have to fit the front edge of this, because these are actually 67 seat pans. They have, or convertible ones or something. They've got the extra reinforcement that runs down the center, which the originals didn't have. So I definitely want those. It's supposed to be further forward too. I definitely want those to pick up the flange on the floor support right there to make things extra rigid. But you know, it's just so close to being on the money. See, that doesn't look too bad. However, put the straight edge across there, you can see the pan is not perpendicular to the rocker. So as a seating position, it's kind of off to the left. It would not be unlike automotive designers to stick the seat in there slightly crooked in order to center up your feet on the pedals, even though you're crooked to the steering wheel slightly and the car itself. So your seating position is actually tilted slightly to give more room in the tunnel. I've seen it before, and so I'm not really sure if this seat pan is supposed to be like that. If you know, leave something in the comments for me. I don't know, does everybody set these up square or what? I mean, I'm trying to get it so that when the seats bolt in, there's no tilt, you know, left or right, which you see all the time because the seat frames get screwed up. You know, the seat will, you'll look in through the windshield and the seat back is either tilted in or tilted out. And I've tried to keep my seat frames welded up and reinforced so that they don't sag like that. I'm going to send Barry an email and ask him. Okay, so the one on the passenger side is just naturally, everything goes together so well over there, and over here it's a pain in the butt. I'm still dinking with this gap here, but as you can see, I got my holes drilled here in the back, and I've got all my holes drilled for where the welds are going to go. So I got to pull the pan out one more time. So I think I have got to the point where I'm stuffing the floor in for the very last time. Here we go. Okay, and away we go. I can remember how to do it. catching on the blanket there, but gotta have it there. Keep my paint good. Come on. Drop in there, you little... Ah. There it is. That was one thing I was going to do before I put this thing back in. But I was going to enlarge the holes for the roll bar mounts. So I'm going to stop right now and put some blocks under it and do that. The floor pan is in. It's screwed into place. All of the weld holes are pulled up tight. And it's ready to weld. So tomorrow I'll spend the day welding. And then the floor pan will be in. Pretty darn cool. And it fits really good considering. Better than the original, actually. It's kind of unbelievable that I've reached the point that I'm welding the floor in. Seems like it's been a long road. That's it for today. And it's late, about 9 o'clock, so I've put in a 12-hour day today, so I'm done. I'm a done dude. It's just feels so good to be at this stage where I'm actually going to weld the stuff up. Today is welding day, but I decided before I start blowing holes in the floor and making an ugly mess of it that I would try some test welds. Okay, test complete. I'm running about 14 volts and 150 whatevers. I never have figured out what exactly that's supposed to be. I'm getting pretty good penetration on the back. It seems to flow pretty well. I'm not overly bulbous. You know, I increased the voltage a little bit and slowed down the wire a little until I was getting nice semi-flat spot welds. And I think maybe decent penetration on the back side, so I think maybe it's good. Yes, indeed. I ran out of gas on my MIG welder. I did, however, get the whole front section welded in. So all of this front is welded in really well. And considering there were only half a dozen welds that were still holding on the tunnel, it must have 30 welds in there where it only had maybe 6 before. Now I got to decide whether I'm going to I do have a brand new tank of argon here that I could use off my TIG welder. It won't weld as good as the CO2 argon mix. However, it would allow me to keep going. So if I could figure out a weld, if I could figure out the welding and keep going, then I will. If I can't, then I'll have to stop. And that's it for today. I think she looks pretty sharp. So this is what I have done. The whole front section is welded. The back section is all welded in, including the wheel wells. Have not welded the sides over here because I'm going to fit the seat pans tomorrow, and I may want to either raise or lower that side in order to make the seat pan level. So both sides have not been welded yet. Time to start grinding and sanding spot welds. Yay! Today I'm working on the seat pans. Lots of reasons of the modifications I've done to the car and stuff. They don't fit the floor pan at all. So here you can see, let me just turn you a little bit. You can see I ended up having to drill out the spot welds on the reinforcement and slit the front of it, and now I'm adding in and custom fitting so that it just follows the floor pan perfectly. So just to make this a little more clear, I slit the front of the seat pan and drilled out the spot welds for that internal support brace, put it back in the car, pushed the seat pan down against the floor and fit the lip to the floor, and then I ran screws in to secure that internal support to the seat pan in the new position. And it just goes plunk and drops right in. Okay, evening update. Reached the perfect spot to take a dinner break. It's about 7:30, but I have got a coat of primer on the inside of the floor pan. So tomorrow can't time it better. Tomorrow I'll put on some color and then I'll weld all this stuff in. It's 11 o'clock at night and I just came out and just brushed on a coat of gray. Driver's side floor pan, same routine. You can see how much I'm having to modify it. About the same 412 to 430 thousandths that I have to modify the front of the pan in order to get it to fit the floor. Anyway, so that's, now that I have a methodology, it goes pretty quick. I have finished modifying the driver's side floor pan, or seat pan, and I was about to start welding them in. You know, the one on the passenger side has been ready to weld in. But I had an idea. That idea was, I have yet to clean and treat the firewall with OSPO and get that primed and seam sealed and all of that. And I kind of decided that that would be a lot easier laying on the floor and up there painting away under the dash without the seat pans in. So I think I'll just hold off on the seat pans till I get that part done. And then, because they can be welded in any time, everything's prepped. So anyway, that was my idea. Just trying to make life a little easier on me. Thanks for watching. Later.